Hello everybody, this is Keza here, bringing you a Wacky Strat Wednesday. Now, when it comes to Pokemon, there are quite a lot of combinations that you can throw together. Given that we already have over 700 Pokemon and well over 400 abilities, there's quite a few ways for us to run amok. This week, we're going to be talking about how Pickup and Fling literally break the game. Now, so for those who don't know, Pickup is an ability where if you do not hold an item, and another Pokemon that is not the pickup user itself loses an item that turn, whether it be by fling, consuming a berry, knockoff, and so on, then the pickup Pokemon will receive that item themselves and be able to use it as they so please. Now, when it comes to Fling pickup combination, you just need two pickup Pokemon with a flinch item, and there you go. That's literally the strategy. All you have to do is outspeed your target and hit them with Fling over and over and over and over again. It is so convoluted and so broken that any team that does not carry any priority moves or protect will get swept by spam fling. I have actually done demonstrations where I literally swept a team using two fling Pokemon and they just sat there and died. So, when it comes to this strategy, there are some risks to it, however. If any of your opponent's Pokemon hold a berry and use it, you will actually pick up the berry instead of the item that was flung. So, that is something to genuinely worry about. Though you can use Fling to make that berry get transferred among the Pokemon you have. So if it's a berry that boosts stats or recovers HP, you can just keep trading it among your Fling Pokemon so that they can use it to protect themselves and keep themselves sustained. However, without the double Fling, you can no longer flinch everything in sight until they just fall over. Another counter to this strategy is going to be Inner Focus and Steadfast. Inner Focus means they can't get flinched at all, and Steadfast means they go faster when they get flung. Now, there is another way that actually makes this more interesting, is you can actually use this strategy of flinch fasting on Steadfast partner Pokemon, where you burn off your item using flinch item on a Steadfast Pokemon, and because they got flinched, they go faster. Unfortunately, due to this situation, your Fling Pokemon, due to the fact that currently no Steadfast Pokemon are Psychic types and there is no way to make a Pokemon a Psychic type, unless you try and mix it in with a convoluted plan to burn off weakness policy with using, say, Trick or Treat on your Steadfast Pokemon, you will not be able to actually use it in any other way besides defensively in this scenario. Now, other ways you can deal with this is you cannot counter any priority users when you do the double Fling Fest. If any Pokemon hits you before you use Fling, you cannot flinch them. That is a guaranteed failure. If a Pokemon uses Protect, you still burn off the item, so you will still retrieve an item as long as both Pokemon successfully use Fling on the same turn. If either Pokemon burns off their item before the other one actually gets a chance to attack, so say one gets hit by Fake Out, or afflicted with paralysis, or attract, and the other one successfully uses Fling, the one that used Fling will never get that item back because there's no other Pokemon that lost an item that turn for it to pick up. So that is also another way that this strategy does end up falling short. However, if you do manage to get in the correct situations where you know your opponent will not be running any priority moves and the only risk you have is Protect, you genuinely have a very safe time running this strategy because you just suppress your opponent. There is one other downside to this, however, and for the Flingfest, it's 10 base power, meaning it's basically you're using Constrict over and over and over again, but with a much, much better side effect. So, because Fling doesn't really get that high of base power points, you also are trying to use it to sweep a team, your objective is less to knock out every single Pokemon with Fling, and instead simply bring them into a low enough HP range where you can knock them out with a stronger move. So basically think Slash, Covet, Thief, something that actually would allow you to support, but would also actually do some more damage than just simply Fling. If you're truly trying to get into a massive powerhouse where you're just stalling until they're about to go down, the last resort Fling is also possible. It's basically the same strategy as Fake Out Last Resort, only the Fake Out never ends! Just remember though, this strategy is extremely situational, and it is best not to focus on using it exclusively in places where you know it will not function against Pokemon with very, very high priority attacks, such as the frequent Sucker Puncher or higher base speed. Have fun, and until next time.